So why is it that the most dangerous job on earth is being a mom in a Disney movie? Matricide enthusiast Professor Jelly here. Why is it that one of the biggest tropes about Disney movies, like the films of your childhood, dead parents? So the first part of my little scientific experiment here is finding out, are there really that many parents who die in Disney movies? Yes, there are. many people die. So if you have a good faith assessment of the animated full-length Disney movies, it seems that about 5/6 of Disney movies do not feature two non-dead parents. Compare this with the only 5% of real-life children who actually have to see one of their parents die in their childhood. So obviously this cliche is true, but why? This is usually where you get some kind of like Freudian slip, armchair psychology explanation where you say one thing but mean your mother. The usually repeated story goes something like this. Walt Disney had somewhat of a difficult relationship with his parents. His father was a very stern man who put Walt and his brother on an infamously strenuous paper route as a kid, and never really saw being an artist as a real job. Now Walt presumably had a better relationship with his mother. Presumably, because I couldn't find anything. Much like in Disney's films, Disney's mother kind of only seemed to be there just to die, because, there's not really that much said about her. But no news is good news, or something like that, But by the late 30s, after the success of Snow White, Walt and his brother were flush with cash, so they decided to move their parents into Hollywood. After looking around, they found a nice home, which Walt's brother Roy commented had a great heating system, and quickly moved their parents in. However, the great heating system soon began to malfunction, and even though Walt sent a repairman over from the studio to fix it, it apparently continued to leak. And on November 26, 1938, the couple's housekeeper came to the home to find both of Disney's parents passed out. While his father was able to be revived, his mother Flora died from carbon monoxide poisoning. Now, by all accounts, this was a devastating event for Walt, and it traumatized him for the rest of his life. So is this the reason why so many moms die in Disney movies? Was Walt subconsciously trying to keep his mother's death out of his mind by killing off all of the fictional mothers in his work? Well, as an up-and-coming chemistry enthusiast may say, yo, Mr. White, that's Cap. Jesse. See, one of the big holes in this explanation is that Snow White, the movie that allowed him to buy the house, already has a dead mom situation going on. So, Now you may say, well, that's just because it was based off the original fairy tale. Which, really just brings up the second explanation. Fairy tales are horrifying. If you didn't know, the original European fairy tales, which most of these early Disney movies were based off of, are absolutely X-rated, and the fact that these were ever meant for children is traumatizing. As a lighthearted example of this, in the original Cinderella, the evil stepsisters actually just chop off parts of their foot so it can fit into the shoe. And then, at the end, they get their eyes pecked out by doves. That's the whole moral. It's just like, people die. These stories come from a time when plague, death in childbirth, and nightly attacks from the slime people of Cairn killed like 200% of all people born. So yeah, there's gonna be some broken households, broken by the Tlet water demon that just ate your father. So maybe just having dead parents was the tamest that Disney could make these stories. Another possible explanation is the changing social dynamics that were coming to fruition during this period. During the time when Disney was making his now classic films, the divorce rate in America and prevalence of children born out of wedlock were relatively skyrocketing, so the single-parent household was becoming a very common occurrence. Ipso facto, catering to these societal problems equals profit or something. Also, something that I think a lot of people aren't considering is that having two parents in these stories is maybe not all that important to the plot. Like in Alice in Wonderland, we don't know if Alice has two parents. We don't see them. She may. We don't know. But, who cares when there's this going on? Most Disney movies are, unsurprisingly, made for a very young audience. And these films do their best when they show these young characters going out into the world on their own and having these amazing adventures that show that the real treasure was the friends that we made along the way, and how public domain should totally be extended indefinitely, and other great Disney morals. And I dare you, I double dog dare you to come up with a better catalyst for a story than decapitating your mother in front of you. Would Bambi have grown up to be a talking deer if he hadn't seen his mother get killed? I riddle you that. Like, if the main character's parents were, busy being alive and, parenting, the main character, simply just would not be the main character. And also something that I thought of while researching this is, think of all the stories that use this trope. Hunger Games, Harry Potter. It really just seems to be a good plot device to, get things moving. So, do I believe that Disney was subconsciously trying to atone for the death of his mother in his films? No. And even if it did, it would only be for the first few years, as Disney died in 1966. With that being said, it seems that newer Disney films are, by and large, trying to break this trope by including full families in their films. Most of the time. This has been Professor Jelly. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, make sure to subscribe. Please, please do it.